Previously in Little Nightmares.
Ruth felt something inside of her, as a sensation in her mind and body, as the very essence of the knower was weaving her fragmented pieces back together, granting her strength and relief from all the pain. A soft knocking echoed through the darkness. Suddenly Ruth heard her own voice from the other side, saying, "Come in." "There you are," the voice behind the door whispered. It was the candle man, standing on the threshold, but talking with the voice of Ruth. Ruth made a decision. She walked through the door. Ruth informed the counselor that she had taken the ferryman's hand. She says that the moon and the stars, they were eyes of every size and shape, watching and blinking. She felt as it's pleased in what it sees. The ferryman's gaze shifted to Ruth, addressing her by her true name. "Sleep, Ruth, sleep into the nowhere." Ruth asked the ferryman to take her hand, acknowledging her need for his guidance. Ruth found herself drawn towards a pulsing red moon, which it was the eye. The surface adorned with countless shimmering eyes. As she stared into their depths, a sense of understanding washed over her. It hid in the dark. My body knew all along. The door closed behind her. The girl in the yellow raincoat's dream, with a heart-pounding intensity as she flees through a forest, desperate to escape an unseen threat. Finally finding safety in a withered shed, she barricades the door. As she wakes up from the nightmare, the balloon that once carried her now skewers the ground roof of the nest. The nest is a majestic mansion. Stepping forward into the unknown, she journeys onward, where she stumbles on her way with a girl in white dress, sprinting through narrow pipes towards a ventilation opening. And going further into the manor, hiding and shivering, she finds a child imprisoned within a cell. Rescuing the child in a red scarf, her respite is short-lived, for she soon encounters the craftsman, a hunted figure, disabled yet possessing unnaturally long limbs. With terror coursing through her veins, she flees from this monstrous prison, finding refuge within a crate meant for delicate dolls. The elevator whisks her away to the domain of the butler, a figure possessing the power of telekinesis. Just as she thinks she is safe, the butler's telekinetic abilities prove formidable, and she narrowly escapes his grasp. Her fleeting sanctuary leads her into the opulent halls of the Pretender, a young spoiled mistress who reigns over the nest with an iron will and childish whims. Here, the raincoat girl must navigate and survive, her every move shadowed by the looming presence of the craftsman and the telekinetic powers of the butler. And without skipping a beat, standing at the nest's grand entrance, the girl in the yellow raincoat is met with the butler's menacing glare. She dashes into the sprawling garden with telekinetic chaos as the butler sends objects flying at her from all directions. It's wild game of dodging and weaving with the panic as her only guide. Just when things seems hopeless, the girl in white appears, a surprising ally in this surreal nightmare. Together, they make a run for the gate. Straining against the heavy iron, every second feels like an eternity with the butlers closing in. The gates gave away, swinging open to freedom, but in the dash across a dangerous trench, her white companion stumbles and falls behind. In a split-second decision, the girl hesitates, torn between safety and loyalty, but the fear of the relentless butler drives her forward. She makes it into a withered barn, the heavy door slamming shut behind her, gasping for air. She pulls it shut, collapsing against it, her heart racing, and all alone and terrified, she cannot shake the feeling that the butler's pursuit is far from over. So she moves on, navigating through hunting dump of discarded dolls. The girl in the yellow raincoat indifferently attracts the attention of the Pretender, who is perched ominously on the cliff's edge, her porcelain mask shattered and a broken doll clutched tightly in her hand. the pretender's gaze fixed on the yellow raincoat girl with unsettling intensity. The pretender gives a chase after the raincoat girl. In a heart-stopping moment, the raincoat girl sees the girl she left behind, the girl in white dress, who is hanging on the edge, almost falling into jagged rocks below. Without hesitation, she lunges forward, grasping the girl's hand in a desperate bid to save her from the deadly fall. The girl in white, who also is known by Six, meets her gaze with a mixture of fear and gratitude. In a startling turn, Six drops a boulder at the pretender. The rock soaring through the air. In a shock, the boulder hits her, ending her reign of terror. For a moment, the girl in the raincoat got closer to check if the pretender with them was no longer. The pretender launches herself at the raincoat girl. Both of them lose their balance, and the pretender's manic laughter mingles with the screams of the raincoat girl as they plummet into the unforgiving ocean below, their bodies crashing against the jagged rocks before being swallowed by the churning depths. Six now is the sole survivor, going on a raft, her gaze fixed on the distant horizon as she floated away into the unknown. The scene shifts to Six racing through the wilderness, her heart pounding in sync with her frantic footsteps, pursued relentlessly by the hunter. Desperation fuels her as she seeks sanctuary, her mind racing for a plan. She throws a pebble as a diversion to mislead the hunter. As the hunter, fooled by it, it is narrow escape for Six, who seizes the opportunity to slide into a concealed tunnel beneath the twisted roots of a tree. Emerging on the other side, Six noticed sitting on a branch is a boy with a paper bag draped over his head. Their eyes lock in a moment of connection, but the hunter appeared out of the shadow and took Six away. The boy on the branch, whose name is Mono, setting the stage for the ominous beginning of Little Nightmares.